Welcome to the Great African Leadership Series, where we feature great inspirational speeches and quotes from African leaders.
Much remains to be done about the place of women in African society. My Minister of Gender and Development likes to tell the story of a kindergarten child who was recently asked what he wanted to be when he grew up. And she urged him to aim for the highest that he could think of. He responded, "I want to be the vice president." Puzzled, the teacher asked him, "Why did you just say vice president?" "Because being a president is a woman's job." At the very least, this young man will grow up in a society where it is considered normal for a female to be president. However, we must still work to address the attitude that makes him think that if it's a woman's work, he can't do it. Up to the latter part of this decade, only 19 countries had achieved 30% women's representation in national parliaments. By 2008, women occupied only 18% of parliamentary seats, with only 13 women in the highest position of state out of 192 governments. Although this is changing gradually, women ministers tend to be concentrated in social areas rather than legal, economic, political, and executive sectors of their government. Rwanda remains an exception as a trailblazer, with the highest number of women parliamentarians, or women in Congress, as you would call them here, in the world. They have 55%. Right here in your own country, a continuing study by two professors from Stanford and the University of Chicago have found that U.S. congressional districts served by female legislatures, on average, do better than those represented by men. You notice I said this report came from Stanford and University of Chicago, not from me. The study goes on to say U.S. congresswomen apparently bring home 9% more discretionary spending than their male counterparts. It turns out that congresswomen sponsor more bills and obtain more co-sponsorship of bills than their male colleagues. Should these results hold up to scrutiny, it would be an encouragement for us to increase the number of our women in our legislature and in parliaments across the continent. In Liberia, our women organizations are applying pressure to meet the United Nations declaration of 30% women representation in the legislature, in political parties, and other organizations. They face an uphill battle, but it's a battle that we are determined to win. We also continue to move structural impediments to social mobility for women. In my government, not having enough women to fill all the seats, we try to put them in strategic places. And so they have run places like foreign affairs, finance, justice, commerce, agriculture, gender, youth and sports. 2 out of our 5 justices of the Supreme Court are women. Junior ministers across sector account for more than 40%. A woman runs our national port, our largest port, the gateway to our economy. The mayor of our capital city and largest city is also a woman. I'm encouraged by the young women with whom I interact across the African continent. They see in my presidency a vindication of something they have always believed, that it is possible, that we can make it happen. I'm aware of the tremendous responsibility this carries, and I welcome the challenge with humility. It is my great privilege to be a source of inspiration to these African women with aspirations to occupy the highest leadership position in law, politics, economics, and other fields in their countries.
Share this video with friends and family to support the channel.